I've been told my entire life, from a very young age, how important team sports, sports and athletic competition in general, is to teaching life lessons. That there's a direct correlation between sports and life. And I'll be honest, as I was growing up playing sports, and even on into my adult years, I didn't realize how true this statement was. It wasn't until I really started coaching and then even watching my boys as they find the sports that they love to compete in, I didn't realize how true this statement is. So, let's talk about it. It's true. We can learn important life lessons through playing sports. Lessons like work ethic, that cost to payoff ratio from work to achieving your goals, to teaching about perseverance and resilience, how to deal with and manage failure. And speaking about your goals, how to set overarching goals, and then also set smaller micro goals and even milestones to help you achieve those long-term goals. It can teach youth social skills, not only the people that are close to you, your team, but also the people that maybe you have disagreements with or that you are competing against, the opposition. It can teach you respect, not only for the people that are a part of the game, a part of your life, but also respect for the game you're playing, respect for the life that you are living. And it can teach you how to manage your emotions, an essential skill, not only in competition, but also in the game of life. And one of these important lessons that I want to talk about today is not allowing your past to dictate your current actions and therefore controlling your future. There's a screenshot that a fellow coach sent to me the other day, and it said, the most important pitch is the next pitch. The most important swing is the next swing. Being able to control your mindset and focus on the present is the greatest gift that you can give yourself as an athlete. And I'll be honest, that's one of the greatest gifts that you can give yourself in life as well. We boil this down to a simple saying on our teams. So what? Next pitch. And yes, I'm talking about baseball, but this is a concept that can be taken to any sport, right? So what? Next pass. So what? Next play. And it can be carried over into the game of life also. It doesn't matter what happened in the past. You can be in the moment right now and make decisions or take action to control your future. You can't sit there and dwell on the past. So a lot of times this concept is used when we're talking about the negative side of things, right? How to manage failure, how to manage adversity, or the challenges, or even mistakes, which is an important thing to learn, right? Because when you're out there trying, you're competing, you're playing sports, you're trying at life, you're gonna make mistakes, and you've got to understand and learn how to manage that. So people will say, well, what if it's my third strike and I strike out? Well, so what? Next pitch. It may not be the next pitch to you, but you've got a teammate that is going up to bat. The most important thing is what happens next. You can hustle your butt back to the dugout and get on that fence and cheer on your next teammate. Well, what if it was the third out? Same scenario, right? You hustle into the dugout, grab your gear, head out there onto the field, and be ready to play defense. But we've also got to understand that it's not just about controlling our emotions or controlling our mindset when something negative happens. This also goes for when something positive happens. You strike a kid out, or you get a base hit, or you hit a home run. That's fantastic, and you should celebrate that. But you can't celebrate it to the point where it's affecting the next play or the next thing that happens, because that's the most important thing, right? Think about it in basketball. Let's say you're dribbling down on offense, somebody passes you the ball, you hit down a big three late in the game, it puts you up by 2. If you're throwing your hands up and you are celebrating, guess what that other team is doing? They've now inbounded the ball and they're back at the other end of the court, and they're making a basket to either put them up or tie the game. And you were too focused on what happened in the past to do your job. This can go in life too. Let's say you achieved a major milestone or a goal, whether it's an overarching goal or even a micro goal. Yes, celebrate it, because that's a huge step in your progress. However, you can't just dwell on it and sit on that and say, yep, I did what I was going to do. Then what? You're just going to sit stagnant? No, you got to move on to the next thing, because the past is the past. You can't change what happened, good or bad. Celebrate it if it's a victory. Think about it, what you can learn from it if it was a failure or a mistake. But you've got to move on, because the most important thing is what happens next. So I've been thinking about this concept and how it pertains to my life right now in the moment. Because you see, I have some patterns or some tendencies that I cannot dwell on. I've got to focus on the current moment. So every evening I do my mindset journal, right? And I plan out my day for tomorrow. One of those things that I do is I look at my workouts and I try to plan what it's going to be. Sometimes those workouts are in the gym, sometimes they're outside. And that's what we're going to talk about right here. A lot of times I'll look at that and be like, okay, I'm going to get up, I'm going to go do my ruck or my run or do something outside. And then I wake up the next morning, and sometimes if there's just something that's not right or it doesn't feel right or the weather's crappy or something, I'll be like, I can just do it inside. That's been my past patterns. However, the other day I said, you know what? I'm not going to focus on what I've done in the past. I'm going to acknowledge it and try to be better about it. So I got up and said, weather doesn't look super great. Forecast looks like crap, but you know what? I can layer up. I can do this outside. And I did. And I'll be honest, it wasn't super fun. The weather wasn't terrible when I left. It was windy and it kind of was starting to snow, but oh well, it is what it is. I went out and hit the road, and by the time I got back, it was snowing pretty hard. The wind was blowing. And by the end of it, I was covered in snow. And if I would have done my workout inside, done it on the treadmill or something like that, yeah, I still would have felt a sense of accomplishment because I did the workout. But because the night before I said, hey, I'm going to do it outside, and then I didn't do it outside, it would be kind of a tainted feeling of accomplishment, right? But instead, this day, I was able to overcome my past, overcome my tendencies, and feel just a great sense of accomplishment. Was it hard? Was it challenging mentally and physically? Absolutely. But man, just knowing that I was able to get past that, not focus on the past, and push through it, it made me feel so much better. Like I could take on anything that day would bring. And that's the point of this. Like I said earlier, the past is the past. You cannot change it. But what you can do is you can focus on the current moment and ask yourself, what can I do right now in the moment? And what action can I take to overcome those challenges? To be better than I was yesterday. That's the point of all this. So if it helps you out, think of that. So what next pitch? The most important pitch is the next one. The most important swing is the next one. So whether or not you're dealing with your past tendencies or a failure or a mistake, or you're celebrating a victory, don't dwell on what happened in the past. Bring your mindset back to the current and figure out what actions you can take so that you can mold your future. I appreciate you being here and spending some of your time with me today. If you found value in this, please consider subscribing. It means the world to me. And as always, make the day great, make the day yours. We'll catch you next time. See ya!